What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, part of OneMindSyndicate, and today I'm back to talk about Warhammer 40k. In this one, we get to see the killer of Primarchs take on the Imperium's last hope, as we have Fulgrim versus Roboute Guilliman. So this is a very interesting battle, because this happens during the Imperium Secundus. So at this point, Horus has failed in his heresy, and the Imperium is basically trying to pick up the pieces and go after the fallen Primarchs. At this point, Guilliman is going to take out Fulgrim, who is already in his demon Primarch form, and it does not go well for Guilliman. As we know in the future, Guilliman does not do very good during this fight. He is actually on the brink of death, and it's thanks to the machinations of Guilliman, Saint Celestine, and of course his GF Yvraine that he is resurrected and able to become a fighting force and a force for hope in this 40k era. So let's go back in time and read out this excerpt from Dark Imperium where Guilliman battles his brother Primarch Fulgrim. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Fulgrim snarled as the tip of Guilliman's gladius nicked his skin. Rising up on his tail, he swept down with his swords in quick succession. Guilliman's weapons found them all, turning them aside with economical movements. Nevertheless, he was sorely pressed. He had fought demons of every kind on many worlds, and he bested them all. Fulgrim, however, was an unholy blend of Primarch and demon. In him, the energy of the warp was marred to the wisdom of ancient sciences. He was part material god, part immaterial demon lord, and his power was indeed great. Guilliman cut and feinted, using the hand of dominion to catch the sword wielded by Fulgrim's lower left arm. The unholy metal of the blade cut into the thick ceramite of the gauntlet, and corrosive poison splattered the armor of reason, eating into it with smoking ferocity. Pain somehow afflicted Guilliman through his armor, as if his war plate itself was being hurt. A spicy agony burned up in the nerves of his arm, and from his interface sockets he could know that this was not good. He gritted his teeth and twisted the gauntlet. Energy crackled and banged from the sword, which snapped in two. Ichor pumped from its hollow innards. Strings of flesh tore free as Guilliman cast the broken tip aside. Fulgrim screamed as if his limb had been ripped off, and he recoiled. Guilliman fought against his own pain to slash hard with the gladius in candor, cutting deeply into Fulgrim's swordless arm. "How dare you!" Fulgrim screamed, rearing back. He lunged at his enemy and crashed bodily into him, knocking Guilliman from his feet. The invictorious suzerains thundered down the steps to join their lord, forming a shield wall about him as he finally scrambled up. But Fulgrim slithered into them, barging them from their feet and slaughtering them contemptuously, his swords lopping limbs with every strike. "You will die," shouted Guilliman, as he surged past his last bodyguard as Fulgrim's swords punched through the Space Marine shield, armor, and body. He swung hard with his gauntlet, but Fulgrim was too quick and weaved to the side. The hand of Dominion punched down into the marble steps, pulverizing 3 of them. Guilliman span around, anticipating Fulgrim's next strike, but the demon had gone. He searched for his brother in the conflict. Their 2 armies had met, and their struggles filled the Heliopolis from side to side. His warriors and the Emperor's children were intermingled, the blue armor of the Ultramarines dotted within a sea of crashing colors and battle plates decorated with stretched skins of the dead. Cones of sound visibly tortured the air, blasting Guilliman's warriors from their feet. Blood fountained from breathing grills as dying Space Marines coughed up shattered internal organs. A knot of white-helmed Terminators stood back to back, dealing death to any traitor that strayed near, while a wall of Ultramarine Second Company brothers advanced, guns booming, pushing back these insane warriors. War was everywhere, desperate and wild. The situation in the void was mirrored within the Heliopolis. His men were outnumbered. They would die. First theoretical, Guilliman thought. Fulgrim is a prime evil in this world. First practical, I will kill him. Second theoretical, he countered, you are angry. Second practical, you will throw your own life and those of your men away for nothing. You have failed in this campaign. Retreat. A memory of Connor Gilliman, his adopted father, flashed in his mind. Control your humors, Connor had told him. You are mightier in every regard than any man, and that includes your passions. Master them, or you will fail. Temper. There was always his temper. For most of his life, Gilliman had kept his emotions in check, but there had been notable occasions when he had lost his head. At Calth, and when Sotha was attacked, or when he arrived late to Terra, or even the early days of the Scouring, he would add this day to that record. Beneath this commanding exterior, Gilliman was seething with fury. Fulgrim, he bellowed, face me. A whip of fast motion flickered to his side. Fulgrim sped through the melee, coming from the left. Gilliman had barely any time to raise his sword before Fulgrim crashed into him, snarling incoherently, knocking him backwards. You hurt me, corpse master's lapdog. The last vestiges of Fulgrim's humanity melted from his face as it transformed into a mask of pure hatred. No one hurts me. No one beats me. He wrapped his tail around his brother Primarch, constricting him with such force that his armor plate began to crack. Casting aside one sword, Fulgrim reached down and grasped Gilliman's head. You wanted to face me, so face me, wrenching Gilliman's helmet off, exposing his naked flesh to the air. The stink of his corrupted brother made Gilliman gag. His head swam as the demon Primarch scent invaded his nose and throat. Pathetic, cried Fulgrim. He uncurled, flinging Gilliman aside. His wounded arm was already healing, crackling warp energies working in tandem with his Primarch physiology to make him whole again. He conjured swords from poison mists to fill his empty hands, and he flew at the master of Macragge. Gilliman staggered upright, gasping. Every breath poured more of Fulgrim's lethal perfume into his lungs, a poison so potent that it taxed his superhuman body. He parried and parried again, but he could land no counterstrike, and he was being forced back up the stairs. A blow flung his arm wide, and he never saw the blade that cut him coming. And that is where Fulgrim delivered the fatal blow to the throat of Gilliman. And because of this, Gilliman was basically put out of commission for thousands of years until his resurrection at, I believe, 8th edition? So yeah, Fulgrim has basically killed 2 Primarchs now. He beheaded his best friend and, come on, let's say it, lover, Ferrus Manus, and here we see him, what should have been a guaranteed kill against Gilliman, but again, he was put on stasis. And apparently slowly he was recovering. So does this mean that Gilliman has some type of resurrection ability or some type of healing ability? No, it was the Emperor keeping him alive. But still, let's not forget that Gilliman got his ass beat completely. Yeah, he did cut off one of Fulgrim's arms, but this didn't really mean much to him considering the warp is basically healing him and his Primarch physiology is also healing him. So we really see that these Primarchs are a threat to be reckoned with. Now the next video I'm going to talk about is Gilliman versus Magnus after his resurrection, so let's go ahead and take a look at that in a couple of days. But for now, let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know what you guys thought about this battle. Do you want to see it animated? Because I know that would be amazing. And do you think Fulgrim will be the next Primarch to unleash its wrath on the 40k universe? Because we already got his awesome sculpt from the 30k era, and I don't think much will change for his sculpt in the 40k era. But I'm still excited to see what they can do to make this badass sculpt even more amazing. So that's all I got for today, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, comment, like, share it to all your friends, and we'll keep bringing you these awesome lore videos. Speaking of more videos, if you guys want extra 40k content from OMS, we do have a podcast channel, the OMS Podcast, where we review the Primarch novels. And you guys can keep on asking us questions in the For the Greater Wall channel where we answer those questions. And that's all I got for today. So as always, it's the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'll see you in the next one.